Assalamualaikum and good evening. You're now with me, Yusuf Shukri, for TVS Nightline. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim says his government will take a firm line to defend the rights of Malaysia's multiracial communities. He warns the nation cannot progress if its people are at odds, stressing that unity and tolerance across race and religion are non-negotiable for Malaysia to move forward. In his speech at the Kuala Lumpur and Selangor Chinese Assembly Hall's 2026 Chinese New Year celebration, the Prime Minister says the issue of unity is not a new thing in a multiracial country like Malaysia.
And this was said in 1961 to remind Malaysians, if you want to succeed, we have to accept there are problems, there are differences, but we must work to solve as one great society, united family of Malaysians.
Prime Minister Tun Abdul Razak Hussein, who faced similar challenges and identified the country's key issue at the time. He also hopes that this Chinese New Year celebration would serve as an opportunity for all Malaysians to strengthen solidarity, setting aside issues that do not benefit the nation. Now, Sarawak is deploying a massive 75 billion ringgit investment strategy over the next 5 years to finally close the development gap with West Malaysia. Deputy Premier Dato' Amar Dr. Sim Kui Hian says an annual budget of 15 billion ringgit is now the engine driving critical advancements in healthcare, education and infrastructure.
He notes that while previous progress was hampered by debt, the current revenue strength places Sarawak in a position of unprecedented financial power.
So, with those type of funding, if Sarawakian can come together and we still cannot catch up to West Malaysia, it's because we ourselves no good. So that's why we need to have these values. We come together. We are like Dr. Fatimah said, TOO. Mai lok ho, jangan gaduh, jangan lawan, kita semua happy together.
Meanwhile, the event was graced by Sarawak Governor Tun Hin Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Dewanku Jaafar and his wife, Tok Puan Fauziah Muhammad Sanusi, joined by Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Amar Fadilah Yusof and other top state leaders.
Lured by fake job offers, people from China and beyond are trafficked into fortified compounds and forced to scam victims around the world. RT correspondent Konstantin Roshkov takes us deep into the murky underworld of scam hubs in Myanmar, a multi-billion-dollar criminal empire.
According to Chinese authorities, these men were members of a Myanmar-based syndicate that ran online scam centers along the China-Myanmar border and had been targeting Chinese citizens for years. During a live broadcast on state television, the group was tried and found guilty of large-scale telecom fraud, kidnapping, torture, murder, and was ultimately sentenced to death. Shortly before the execution, some of the convicted appeared on television one last time to publicly apologize for their crimes.
I feel deeply ashamed. I now truly realize my mistakes and regret my former ignorance and foolishness.
While this is actually rare for Chinese courts to hand down death sentences, let alone air trial footage on state television, this just goes to show that the Chinese authorities are trying to make a case here and be tough and uncompromising in their response to online fraud that's been targeting Chinese citizens. This has grown into quite an issue recently and is often referred to as scamdemic. One of the most popular scams these days is known as pig butchering, and it deliberately targets lonely people, those who are more vulnerable to online romances. Scammers might pose as good-looking men or women, starting with nothing more than just a friendly conversation. In criminal slang, this is called to feed or to groom the victim, the pig. They can spend weeks or even months building this trust, and once this bond is in place, they often introduce what seems to be an easy way to make money, often through crypto investments or some other dubious schemes. And they can even let their victims earn some profits at first, but once they let their guard down, all their money is gone. This is why it's called pig butchering.
Interestingly, the people who lose their money aren't the only ones who suffer. On the other end of the phone line, the scammers themselves are victims too, trapped in what are often referred to as cybercrime slave centers. Myanmar's military has released footage from inside one of these scam hubs. Endless rows of computers, young men, many of them trafficked from China, beaten, tortured, and forced to work as online scammers. Footage later broadcast on Chinese television shows the brutal reality and the sophisticated system of punishment inside these compounds. In the Mawadi region, the Myanmar military blew up 2 large hubs linked to these operations. From the outside, places like this often look like luxury hotels or casinos, but inside there is something very different. The televised trials and severe punishments for scam syndicates are part of a much broader national campaign in China targeting telecom and online fraud. A key part of that effort is the National Anti-Fraud Center, a government platform under the Ministry of Public Security.
Urgent alert! Scammers have upgraded their tactics.
It's highly active on Chinese social media, regularly posting warning videos, real case breakdowns, and tips on how to avoid falling into the traps.
With some of the most notorious gang leaders are out of the picture now, the cybercrime industry in Southeast Asia has taken a serious hit. But the networks are still out there, and the fight is far from over. Konstantin Rashkov reporting for RT from Beijing, China.
Now, Canada has renewed its diplomatic ties with China after Beijing announced the visa-free travel for Canadians. Prime Minister Mark Carney on X describes the move as a key outcome of a new phase in bilateral engagement as part of its new strategic partnership.
The decision follows Carney's January visit to Beijing, where he met President Xi Jinping and welcomed the president's commitment to introducing visa-free access for Canadians traveling to China, according to a statement from the Prime Minister's office. China's Foreign Ministry said Sunday that ordinary passport holders from Canada and the UK will be allowed visa-free entry starting today. The policy will permit stays of up to 30 days for business, tourism, family visits, exchanges and transit. It is also applicable to British passport holders upon agreement with UK's officials at a separate event. The visa waiver marks a shift after years of diplomatic tensions, during which Beijing maintained visa requirements for Canadians and restricted Chinese tourism groups travelling to Canada. Most Canadian travellers previously faced a lengthy application process and about $140 in fees to enter China. The renewed engagement has also coincided with broader economic negotiations, including an agreement allowing tens of thousands of Chinese electric vehicles into Canada in exchange for tariff relief on Canadian agricultural products such as canola seeds.
Unemployment has unexpectedly risen to its highest level for 5 years, and wage growth has slowed again as UK's jobs market continues to come under pressure. UK's Office for National Statistics, ONS, states the rate of unemployment lifted to 5.2% in the 3 months to December, up from 5.1% in the 3 months to November. And this was the highest since the 3 months to January 2021 and the highest for over a decade outside of the pandemic era.
Most economists expect unemployment to remain at 5.1% in the latest quarter. ONS, Director of Economic Statistics, say a survey conducted showed there is a large number of people who are actively looking for a job. This reflects the number of unemployed people per vacancy has increased, reaching a new post-pandemic high. Meanwhile, ONS further states that regular wage growth fell back once again to 4.2% in the 3 months to December, against a downwardly revised 4.4% in the 3 months to November, and was 0.8% higher after taking consumer prices index inflation into account. But there was a welcome increase in vacancies, up by 2,000 quarter-on-quarter to 726,000 in the 3 months to January.
Now, Singapore will issue updated salary guidelines for workers of community care organizations or CCOs, which includes a 7% or more raise in total annual remuneration for 23,000 staffs. Minister for Health and Coordinating Minister for Social Policies, Ong Ye Kung, states to help defray the cost of higher salaries for CCOs, the government will issue a first tranche of support of around 100 million Singaporean dollars. The government is also increasing various subsidies related to long-term care applicable to nursing homes, senior care centers, and home personal care. Concurrently, subsidies for these services will be increased for Singaporeans effective July 2026. Details on the salary guidelines will be issued in the next couple of months and is expected to be ready for implementation by the end of this year or early next year. A quiet neighborhood in Kuantan is reeling after a bloody family massacre leaves 5 people dead, including 2 toddlers. Police are pointing to severe financial distress as the potential motive behind the gruesome killings in Cherating Damai.
Investigators describe a horrific scene inside the family home where the bodies of 2 girls aged 3 and 4 were discovered. Their 28-year-old mother and 55-year-old grandmother were also slaughtered in the attack. Police believe the 32-year-old father used a knife to murder his entire family before turning the weapon on himself. Pahang Police Chief Dato Sri Yahaya Othman confirms this suspect had no prior history of psychiatric issues, and officials are now classifying the investigation under Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder. Neighbors are in absolute shock, describing the family as friendly and peaceful. One resident says heavy rain at 7 a.m. likely muffled the screams, preventing any chance of intervention. Forensic teams removed the remains this afternoon as the community prepares for a series of burials starting today.
Wrapping up the Nightline, a desperate search is underway in Sarung Jaya after a crocodile snatched a 30-year-old man in a deadly river attack. Emergency crews are combing the waters near the Sungai Buloh Bridge after the victim was pulled under while fishing earlier today. The Sarawak Fire and Rescue Department received the urgent call distress at noon, triggering the immediate deployment of a strike team from the Asajaya Fire Station. Witnesses at the scene described a horrifying sequence of events. The victim, Muhammad Faisal Abdillah, was netting fish with a friend when he ventured waist-deep into the water, and that was when the predator struck. Search teams are currently scouring the river for any sign of the missing man, but rescuers say the high-risk environment and the continued presence of the predator are complicating the mission. The victim remains missing as of this report. Get all the updates you need all in one app. TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news, and programs available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire, world on your screen, anytime, anywhere. I'm Yusuf Shukri. Thank you for watching. 新年快乐!